As much as I love a good branded laser pointer pen, what I'm really after are the 4 gig USB drives hidden inside. It took a little convincing, but I eventually got them out. The plan is to keep this project free, so I'm going to use up some scraps from old projects. And I really like the contrast between these pieces of walnut and white oak. I start by cutting these down to make them a little more manageable, but I'll still keep them oversized for now to avoid having to work too close to the blade on my table saw. I've got a couple different designs in mind. First is a walnut on white oak sandwich. I need to swap out for a dado stack on my table saw to carve out a space in the walnut for the USB drive, which means changing out the blade on my old Delta contractor saw. After doing some test cuts to dial in the height, I'll make a couple of passes on 2 strips of walnut to carve out the groove. I'm going to cap off the ends with strips of white oak, and to make the opening for the business end of the USB drive, I'll drill a series of holes in a line on the drill press. I'll assemble all of the pieces with some wood glue and squeeze clamps, and I'll set them aside while I start on the next design. For the second USB drive, I'm going to skip the table saw and get some practice in with my chisels. I'll mark up the pieces to give me a starting guide, and then I'll check my progress periodically until I get a good fit. And once again, I'll assemble both halves together with some wood glue and clamping pressure. If I didn't already wish I had a bandsaw, I do now. I'll cut away as much extra material as I feel safe on the table saw, and then I'll finish up the rest of the shaping with my hand sander. It was a lot easier to bring the pieces to the sander than to try to secure the tiny USB sticks to my bench. And to finish these 3, I'll rub on a couple coats of Danish oil to bring out the grain and give them a little extra protection from the general wear and tear of being handled. In the end, I spent a few hours on some free materials, and I ended up with a pretty cool set of USB drives. Although, looking back, I wish I would have made some caps for them too. Be sure to subscribe and like for more woodworking and DIY projects, and maybe we'll make some caps in the next tutorial. Probably not, but thanks for watching.